Hey y'all, this is Tracy from Dixie Soul Creations. Today I'm going to show y'all how I center a pattern on a baby heirloom quilt. I've tried to do this many different ways, and I've also looked at videos of how some people do this. I've posted pictures of the quilts that I've done on some embroidery sites, and I have had some people privately message me and ask me how I get my design centered so well. And so I wanted to go over a few of the methods that I've used in the past. First, I started out, when I first started doing these, printing a pattern. And then I would take my pattern and try my best to find the center of the quilt, and then take my ruler and try to measure vertically and horizontally and find a center. But I found eventually that these circles, to me, when I measure them, I don't find them to be perfect circles. I don't know if any of y'all have ever noticed this, but I mean, it's a circle, so you expect it to be a perfect circle. So what I looked at was, we can't measure the outer edge of the circle because, as you can see, it's under the border. So I couldn't measure from there. So I decided to measure, there's a circular line around these puff dots, and then there's one on the inside. So I decided that I would measure that. So if you measure from the top, and again, you know, this is assuming that you're putting your ruler in the center, and that's kind of hard to do. So if I measure what I feel like is the top and bottom, the vertical center, I get about 7 1/4 this way. And then when I try to find that same center or that same measurement horizontally, I'm only getting 7 inches. That doesn't seem to make sense. If this is a perfect circle, why wouldn't it be 7 1/4 all the way around? And so then if you try other areas, now I'm getting 7. So in other words, it's really very hard to figure out where your ruler needs to go. I mean, you know, if I slide it just too much one way, it could be too much. So then I thought, okay, well, let's just take a look at the patterns here. And so my next thought was, and I'm not, I mean, I did those in the past. I managed, and most of the time they were centered, but I did notice occasionally they were probably just a very small amount off. And of course, no one notices, but you know, we do. So the next thing I thought was, well, let me just try to see if I can just visually figure this out. So this is a fleur-de-lis inside this circle, and it's got these 3 petals. And down here, it's got this fan. And so I thought, well, why don't I just use the 3 points of these fleur-de-lis and put dots there. So I put a dot at the top of that one at the very point, and then over here, and then over here. And then on the fan down here, I just counted the number of little fans here, went right in the center. I drew my lines both ways, put my pattern on there, embroidered it. And for the most part, most of the time, it would look like it was perfectly centered. Every now and then I would be just a tad bit off, and I'm guessing, you know, that's just quality control and how the quilts are designed. But it worked, and it worked for a number of years. And I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner, but tonight I decided, as I was looking and thinking, well, there's got to be a better way to do this. I tried my old way. Tried the measuring way, and then I got to looking at this quilt, and I didn't realize this before. I don't know why, but did you know there's an even number of these little circular dots? And while I'm sure they're probably not all perfectly the same size dot, I just kind of felt like, well, hey, let me try it this way this time. And so I really do believe that the center of this fan is right. If you count, there's 5 little fans on this side, 5 little fans on this side. And so I've always used that as my vertical center mark, and that also lines up perfectly right between these two little puffed circles down here. So I thought, why not find the center of these circles up here? Since there's 56, is that right? Hold on. 22 and a half, no, 46, I'm sorry, 46. There's 46 circles. Why not divide the quilt into 23 circles on this side and 23 circles on this side? So I did that. I got a mark up here, use my ruler, and draw my vertical line. Well, that leaves 23 circles over here, 23 over here. So 23 divided by 2 is 11 and a half. So I count 11 and a half. So this line ends up halfway between in the middle of that circle, and then over here the same thing. So then I put my ruler there and drew a horizontal line. And so I have a center, and it's actually pretty close to where my center was when I used to do it the old-fashioned just measuring way. But I got to thinking, you know, sometimes I do my embroidery pattern on these side circles, on the corner circles. And normally when we embroider the corner circles, let me move it over here so you can see, we generally do these diagonally this way. And so it's a little bit harder to measure and to get these diagonal circles perfectly centered. So actually I believe now that counting the dots is probably going to work better for my diagonal circles as well. So anyway, I have not embroidered this yet, so I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I do hope that this is going to be my my best way to do this. I haven't seen anyone do this, but haven't actually watched any videos lately. So I'm really hoping that this will work. But I'll come back later and I will post my results in the comments and let you guys see how it does turn out. This is actually only my second video to do on YouTube. I'm kind of new at the whole YouTube thing, so forgive me if I leave anything out or if I talk too fast, just let me know. And if you like my video, then give me a thumbs up and follow my channel. My other hobby is resin and glass art, and I actually have a struggle going on between the two. My two loves are embroidery and resin, so I actually have a lot of short videos on resin, some of my resin projects on there, and I also have an Etsy page and I can link that in the comments if anybody's interested in checking out my Etsy page. And I also have a Facebook business page, and I'll put all that on there. But anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have a better way of centering your patterns. Let me know if this is what works for you. I appreciate any advice or comments that you can give me, and I appreciate you watching. So thank you, and have a good day.